And welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we've got another video in our Teams That Slap series. Specifically, we're going to be looking at GAC defensive teams that slap. So last month we did a GAC offense teams. Feel free to check that out in the top corner up there. But this month we're going to be looking at GAC defensive teams that slap. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so we've got our top 10 teams here. This is in no particular order. We are going to have a bonus team at the very end that I think will work and might surprise a lot of people. You may not know about this team, so stay tuned for that extra bonus content, everybody. All right, so team number one, we have here Starkiller. If you guys have not faced Starkiller yet, oh my gosh, is this team ridiculously powerful. They are so fast. They are so difficult to beat. I know that this is a team that a lot of people may not have access to yet. Even I don't have access to it at this point as a mid-level player. But it is certainly a team to strive for. If you've got a strong Empire team, if you've worked on the sea, for instance, and you want to start working towards Starkiller, I would advise you do it. It is a very, very good team. I can't wait. I'm getting very close to being able to get him at this point. And I just can't wait. He's such a good character. It's such a good team. I still have a little ways to go yet. I'll probably not have them until the next 5v5 GAC. But man, I cannot wait. They're going to be so amazing. All right, number two team here we have is Darth Malgus. This team is basically a galactic legend in GAC, folks. If you don't have him, you should prioritize him. He's extremely important. Very, very, very good character. Obviously, he couples with the Sith Empire, and in particular, what really takes this team to the next level is Darth Talon. If you don't have Darth Talon, he's not quite as effective. He's still very difficult to beat, but he's a little bit vulnerable to certain teams like Troopers, for instance, because they can come out and they can just kind of turn meter train it, and they can defeat you if they are fast enough and can get that turn meter train rolling. If you have Talon, on the other hand, though, she prevents that turn meter train from being able to get out of hand and really legitimately takes this team to Galactic Legend levels. So, again, if you don't have it, folks, get on top of it. It's an amazing, amazing team on defense. Team number three, GAC. I know a lot of people like to use him on offense because he can beat so many teams. He can also work as a solo if you need him to. But I personally love him on defense. You're not going to get great banners with this team on offense, and I do like to get as much banner efficiency as possible when I'm trying to get wins, and this team is not going to get you those banners. So I definitely prefer to use these guys on defense in particular. It requires a pretty hard counter to beat it. Are there some softer counters you can use? Yes. But generally speaking, your opponent's going to have to use a pretty strong counter to beat this. And they're not going to get great banners out of it either, more than likely, which is another nice bonus. So that is our third team. Fourth team, probably my personal favorite defensive team. Yes, Malgus is amazing. He's phenomenal. He can get holds like crazy. But man, if you get this team modded correctly, this team will blow people up. Especially when you have a relic Cam. Cam at relic levels, again, this is like Starkiller for me. I cannot wait till I get him at 7 stars and I can relic him. He slaps so hard, folks. Between him and Jedi Knight Anakin, you are just going to nuke entire teams that come in here on offense, including Bad Batch. If you get your speed up high enough on Jedi Knight Anakin, you can really, really destroy some Bad Batch teams too. Mine, unfortunately, it's not quite where I would like it to be. I've been working on him. I just can't quite get his speed up to where I want it to be. He's at 294 right now. That translates to 354 when all is said and done with Cam and Qui-Gon. But I really would like to see him up in the 365, possibly 370 range. If you get up to that point, good luck, Bad Batch. Good luck. It's possible, but it's really hard to get that kind of speed. So that is team number 4. Team number 5, CLS. Now, CLS can also be very effective on offense. And I should say, folks, all of these teams really can be very effective on offense. A lot of people like to use Starkiller because of high banners on offense. Darth Malgus can really basically beat a GL if you need him to. Like I said, Gas I am not a fan of on offense. Qui-Gon can be used very effectively on offense. All of these teams are very good on offense, but they're going to get a lot of banners robbed from the opponent, and they're going to be very difficult to beat. CLS is another instance of that. With all the counterattacking, you're pretty much guaranteed to rob them of some banners, and it's going to require a very, very high-level counter to beat CLS. Personally, I like CLS better on offense. Shh, don't tell anybody. But it is a really good team on defense. I certainly would not fault you for wanting to use these guys on defense. All right, team number, I think we're on 6, yes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yes. Hard to keep count. Team 6, Mon Mothma. Now, this is kind of a little bit more controversial in my opinion, because Mon Mothma can be soloed by Wampa. Is this a risky play on defense? Yes, it is. But similar to the Qui-Gon team, Qui-Gon can also be a very risky play on defense. But if you mod this team really, really well, similar to the Qui-Gon team, good luck. Wampa is not necessarily going to get that solo, and instead is going to time out and going to run into a lot of problems. So this is certainly a team that I think can be very good on defense when modded properly, and obviously at kind of beginning mid-levels, so I'll say like a GP of like maybe 5 mil. If you've really prioritized JML and your JML is your only GL at this point, you probably do want to focus on this team, because this is going to be a high-level defensive team for you at that stage of the game. If you're somewhere where I am and you're pushing 8 million, I think this is a better team on offense personally. But again, it depends on how you have them modded, depends on where you're at GP-wise. But in either case, they are a very effective defensive team. All right, team number 7, AdRad. This team is really dangerous, folks. I've had to face quite a few of them at this point, and they can be tricky. There are certainly teams that can beat it very easily, but it's going to require, again, a fairly high-level counter in order to be able to beat this team. It's great that you have kind of these old Rogue One characters that used to really not be very good and have pretty much been useless for years at this stage of the game, and now under AdRad have become just this amazing team that is highly effective. If you're working on profundity, folks, this is definitely going to be a priority for you. It's going to be a great defensive team. If you aren't working on profundity like I am at this point, I'm just working on farming of the character shards, but I'm not doing any kind of gearing at this point. You're probably not going to want to put this on defense as it is if it looks like mine. But if you've got these guys at relic levels, even quite frankly at gear 12, they can be tricky for an opponent. Throw them on defense, especially back wall. You might be surprised at how many holds you can get with this team. All right, team number 8, JTR. So I should say, folks, that none of these teams are GL teams. I don't like to do GL teams for these teams that slap series. JTR, JTR, yes, JTR. Ray Jedi Training. We always flip-flop that. Anyway, this team is really, really tough. Is it very effective on offense? Yes, it is very good on offense. It is also extremely tough to beat on defense, though, if you have loads and loads of speed on Finn. If you've got Finn loaded up with a ton of speed, similar to Echo in the Bad Batch team, this team gets out and it gets running, and it is really tough to beat. I don't mess around with this team. If I see that this is an all-relic team, I go in with overkill, folks. I don't mess around against Jedi Training Ray teams. They are extremely difficult to beat and can be very sneakily good. So again, same idea. If you've got this team, kind of like mine, for instance, it's not a really great team at this point. You might be able to throw them on the back wall, for instance. You might be able to get a surprising hold there on the defensive side with this team if it's not super amazing, but sort of effective. If they're super great, if they're all relict, man, put them on defense. Put them front wall, folks. It's going to require a pretty high-level counter for somebody to beat that. All right, team number 8. I believe we're on 8, yes? Yes, 8. The Dash Rendar team. This is a great team, especially if you've got your Dash really, really fast. He gets out ahead. He will stomp on a lot of teams, totally neuter them, prevent them from getting out and going. Really good team. It's very annoying to try to get to Vandor Chewie and get him killed first before you kill anybody else. With that being said, are there counters out there? Yes. Is this a top tier team? No. I do think they are highly effective. and will cost another pretty solid team from your opponent, which is really the goal with this team. I love putting these guys in the front because it's going to require them to use a decent counter, and then when they get to that back wall, they don't know what they're going to see. Maybe you have that team that they needed gone now because of the dash team in the front. I should mention that Kira and young Lando are pretty interchangeable here in this case. I have Kira in here because she's, one, a gear level higher, and two, she does AoEs and just basically steals more banners, which is what I love. All right, team number 10. This is a Mando Beskar team with Kuil, IG-11, and then you pretty much have your choice of two other Scoundrels. I have Enfys Nest and Dengar in here. You really have some flexibility with these two in particular, folks. But the key is with this team is you want the turn meter order correct. You want Kuil to go first, Bam to go second, and then the other three to go so that they're using their AoEs. I should mention that your two members that you have in the optional slots here, you do want AoEs. Nest goes out and uses her AoE first, Dengar uses his thermal AoE, and it just buffs all of those stacks of Beskar for his Whistling Birds so that he can really do some serious damage. Again, similar to the Dash team, is this an amazing team that's going to cost your opponent a GL? No. Is it going to cost them an A-level counter? Probably not. But it might use one of their B-level counters where they need that for a team in your back zone. These two are very, very good at costing your opponent a very precious team that is a strong hard counter for a back zone team. I love using these guys in the front zones in particular. Really, really effective for me. All right, so that's our top 10. Our bonus team here. I love this team. I don't run them yet on defense because I'm still fine-tuning some stuff. But man, as soon as I get this stuff fine-tuned and it's ready to roll, this team is going on defense in the front zone because they are going to be just a disaster to deal with. That is the Maul-led Mandalorians with Wat Tambor. So basically the way this team works is Wat goes first. The only one that can beat him is essentially Han Solo. He goes, which activates Maul's Frenzy. Maul uses his AoE, which then gives Candy all of his turn meter. Canderous uses his AoE, which then gives Maul his turn again. And then he is off and running and you annihilate someone right off the bat. So before your opponent can even take a turn, you have now destroyed one of their members of their team. It's very similar to having Cat on your team, essentially, where it's an insta-kill, pretty much. As long as you've got your Maul relic at a high level and modded correctly, you're going to destroy somebody. I love this team. It is such a good team. It requires a really high-level counter, in my opinion. It costs your opponent an A-level team, essentially. So if you're not using this, folks, if you don't have this team set up yet, definitely put this on your favorites. Start working towards this. And it's a really, really, really good defensive team. All right, folks. So, Jen, quick review here. That's our bonus. Number 10, number 9, number 8, number 7, number 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, folks, so that'll wrap us up here for today. If you liked what you saw, please make sure you guys give me a like down below. If you want to catch more content that I'm putting out, make sure you guys subscribe and turn on notifications as well so you don't miss anything moving forward. Last but not least, if you guys would like to join the live discussion on either Twitch or Discord, we'll have the links below for both of those places down there. If I missed anything, folks, or if you just want to tell me how amazing this was, feel free to leave a comment as well. All right, everybody. Catch you next time.